Hi, this is Chef Rob,
This is dietitian Mindy.
and we are in the Aortic kitchen tonight, coming to you from our version of Mexico. Glad to have you guys here. Hopefully, watching. We are going to do a little bit different trip around Mexico tonight. Uh, we're not going to do the basic tacos and burritos and the salsas and all that. We're going to do some things that you can make to go with your dinners if you're making a Mexican style dinner. Mindy's going to make a flan de queso, which is a cream cheese based flan, delicious, nice and calorie dense. Some of this is focused around our members that are healing and may need extra calories for that healing power, as you'll see. So she's doing the flan de queso. She's doing paletas, which are wonderful fresh fruit bars, Mexican style popsicles, fruit bars.
But adult.
Yes, these are going to be some adult flavors, but as you know, recipes are only a guide. So if you don't like the flavorings, you can change it around. Okay, I'm going to make a salad, a radish green salad, and that's very interesting. And also horchata, which is a really delicious Mexican beverage, which is a rice-based beverage. Also really dense in calories and nutrition, great for healing. So, but also great to drink. Either way, you don't have to be healing to enjoy this stuff. It's great stuff. So, onward and upward. Mindy's going to start with the flan, and we'll take it from there. Okay.
Well, first, I'm using this burner. I tried it earlier today.
Be hot.
It's too hot?
No, it's going to be.
It'll just cook fast.
Well, yeah.
Take a dry pan, pour the sugar in.
So flan is a layered, if you haven't had it before, it's like a custard. As you know, the French call them creme caramel. So it's a layer of caramel, and then with the egg custard poured on top and baked in the oven. So Mindy's going to make the caramel first.
You can make with different flavors. We're going to do a basic one. You could add chocolate chips. You could add some cinnamon, whatever flavor you like. You want to make a coffee flavor, you put a teaspoon of coffee in it.
So you've got to be patient. Then once the sugar starts melting, making the caramel may take a few tries. Okay, you don't want to mess with it very much.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it down a little bit.
A lot of it.
As you see, it's
You're
getting
it up, Mindy.
I did have it down.
Nope.
Yep, got to do it again.
Okay, way down. These little burners are hard to control. A bit more.
As you see, when you look at through the camera, it's turning a little clearer around the edges. You don't stir it. That's so the caramel stays smooth. If you do stir it, you're going to get little lumps in it.
It can crystallize sometimes. So it only takes a couple of minutes.
About 5.
Yep. So in the meantime, why don't you talk about what else you're putting in this?
Okay. So the other ingredients are evaporated milk, sweetened condensed milk, vanilla, and 2 eggs. This will make 4 flan cups. And I'm going to be using these small cups. We will pour the caramel in the bottom. Then we're going to put them in a pan, pour water in it, and then cook it for about 30 minutes and then start checking to see if it's solidified.
Now this is flan de queso. Did you put any cheese in there?
I haven't put it in yet, but there is cream cheese that will be going into this.
Okay.
About 2 ounces of cream cheese.
This is going to work.
I'm just moving it around a little, dear. Thank you.
Okay.
The chef taught me how to do this today.
So if you want to lightly adjust, you just got to be very careful with your heat, because once the sugar starts, there's enough retained heat that it's going to keep going. So you want to melt it and get it to that caramel color. But so you're going to stop the cooking when it's golden brown, more golden, because then if it sits in the pan, it's going to continue to caramel color.
So if you look on this side, it's a little darker caramel, and this side is a little lighter
caramel.
Where's
your little stir right here? You've got it in the cream cheese.
You don't want to stir it too much.
Usually a wood implement.
but you don't want it to be up on the walls.
Oh, yeah, just leave those crystals on the side. Don't bring
Yep,
them
I'm
in.
not going to bring them in. And basically, you just lightly swirl it.
Now, the trick that the pastry chefs use, if you want to go that far, uh, if there is sugar on the sides, you can take a brush with a little bit of water and just dissolve that, and so it runs down into the sugar. And it's also, you can also start with a little bit of sugar in your water if you wish. It makes it a little bit simpler because the sugar will dissolve in the water, but then it takes a little bit longer because the water has to cook off before it'll actually start to caramelize. But it does make it a little bit simpler.
It takes about 5 to 7 minutes. And as you see, it's starting to melt a little bit more. I'm trying to keep it from getting too brown.
Stir that rest in if you want. Would you like me to?
I got it.
Okay, there you go.
I got it.
I will step away from the stove.
I I had done it with a little less sugar last time, so it definitely will cook faster if you use less sugar.
I see smoking.
Yep,
Let's turn
that
the
side of
flame
the
off.
pan, and we'll let it set.
Yes, just a few more swirls that in. Get it all in, all the white that you see.
You see the little bit of white here,
Yeah, just stir it in.
little lump here, give it a little stir, and they're gone.
Okay.
So now I'm going to let it cool just a little bit,
Okay.
and Rob can take the stove away and get our next
That's what I'm doing.
part done. You see, depending, if you get it too brown, it's going to have that burnt taste. The darker the caramel, the more intense the flavor. And then I have 4 cups. Make sure they're heat resistant cups.
The other direction.
I got that, dear.
And
No, I can do it with my left hand, even though I'm right-handed.
ambidextrous.
I am. Break your wrist and you learn how to do everything with 2 hands. Or you have 3 kids, and then you wonder how you connect with the 3rd kid because you got your hands full with the other 2.
Yeah, which hand do you use then?
You don't. You put them on a leash. Even though it doesn't look like it's a lot, by the time I put the custard in it and it cooks,
there'll be plenty of caramel to eat.
There's plenty of caramel.
Okay, want me to finish that while you move on to the next?
I can take this away. I'll let you take the hot pan. Thank you. I'm going to move this to the side. And I'm hopefully my cord is long enough. I did not check. I was a bad preparer
Well,
today.
you got plenty of cord to plug in on the.
I do? I don't.
Oh no, I want you to do it right there underneath the.
On here?
On the glass. On the glass. Just put it on the glass.
Okay.
There you go.
I didn't know you had it set for it to be on the glass.
Large on the right.
Thank you, dear.
Yes.
I should know I put them in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can use either the blender or the food processor. I'm using the food processor because he's using the blender.
You can even do it with a mixer if you have to. Hand mixer.
So this is the evaporated milk and the 2 eggs. Did a little earlier prep. This is the sweetened condensed milk, and you can tell because when I pour it, it's syrupy and sweet.
Thick.
Thank you. And it was interesting that I found the Evaporated milk goes by liquid volume. The sweetened condensed milk goes by weight that's in the can. I need to add.
Oh, the recipe is one
Pretty
can of each.
simple.
One
One can of each. I'm going to put a teaspoon. Where are my measuring spoons from dear? Right there in front of my face. A teaspoon and a half of vanilla. And as we always say, if you over pour the vanilla, it won't hurt anything. There's my half teaspoon. And the last ingredient, which is the cream cheese. I'm going to pulse this. I did it when I did the test one. I just kept it mixing, and it got a little bit too foamy. I'm going to try to reduce the foam. And as I keep mixing, I'm trying to break up that cream cheese so it's evenly out throughout the. And it looks like it's pretty much.
And if there are some little lumps, they should melt. Just like when you make a cheesecake, you have a little bit of lumps, it'll melt in the oven.
I think I did it.
Okay.
So one thing when you use a food processor, which is very important, if you look on the side of the carton container, it says right here, don't put liquid past that. If you go above that line, what happens is you can see inside the blade, the liquid is going to go under there and start leaking out the bottom of the dish. So now I'm going to take these that I had before. Hopefully I don't get too many bubbles in it.
It's okay. They all cooked out.
Yeah, we're going to let it set for a little bit.
We are.
Before I stick it in the oven. I'm being very generous on these, dear.
Okay, good.
This one, maybe not.
They're delicious.
Okay. So I'm filling it up. You need to get a deep pan because you have to get the water at least halfway up.
Oh, so we bake it in a water bath.
You bake it in a water bath and you don't splash it all over the stove like I just did.
That way your custard doesn't burn in the oven. And it comes out nice and smooth.
So this recipe calls for boiling water. We tried another recipe that was really interesting. It was just blanched almonds and orange juice and sugar. It tasted pretty good. The texture was very different. So we decided to go with the more traditional flan. As you see, we have it all put in here, spaced, so there's a little separation between each of them. Water boiled, sir?
Yes, it is.
Okay, may I have it? Thank you. So what you want to do is be careful. I'm going to lift up one and I'm going to pour the water in the pan. And I'm going to go almost as high as I can without making the water go into the containers.
Halfway up's good.
Well, remember, these have glass bottoms. A little bit higher. Oops.
Yeah.
I think I did it. A little bit higher. And so I don't have it. Where'd my foil go?
It was there.
It was here.
It's there. No.
Oh, well,
I don't know what you do with your foil.
put the foil on top and put it in the oven. Right behind you. Strawberries.
Oh, that's a good place for it.
Yeah, it was.
Good mise en place.
I had it ready. I'm putting the foil on top so it doesn't get crusty on the top and look like the caramel on the bottom. Put it in the oven. I'm going to check it in about 40 minutes. And it should be pretty much complete. The oven is set at 350 degrees. So while I clean up my mess, because as you know, baking is probably one of the messiest methods of cooking is baking.
But I already cleaned up for you.
Yeah, but I made a mess on the stove. I made a mess on the cutting
Oh.
board.
Okay. That's good.
Your turn.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we're going to move on to the only savory part of tonight. Going to do a, it's interesting. I love radishes. Okay. One of my favorite foods. And this salad, and I always buy, most of the time, I buy radishes with the tops on. Radish greens are absolutely delicious. Whether you put them in salads are a bit bitter. Okay. That's a little more acquired taste. And the texturally, because they're a little rough. But sauteed like spinach or throw them in with spinach, radish greens are absolutely delicious. In fact, you should really, if you buy vegetables with the greens, that's where a lot of the vitamins and minerals are, the greens. So beet greens, absolutely delicious. So you buy beets if you like them, whether you buy the reds or the golds or the whites, you know there are different colored beets. Uh, you can buy them whole with the tops on while they're fresh. Then that same day, usually they don't hold up real well. So you can treat them just like spinach and put them in a pan and saute it down and serve that and eat it. Same with the radish greens, any other greens. You can mix them in if you're doing a pot of greens, but they're delicious. Um, so radish greens are really good, and I do like those. So this salad is really very simple. We're gonna have avocado. We're gonna have some orange. I have radishes, nice thinly sliced uh, wedges actually. So I cut them in half, and I just work my way around like cutting tomato wedges all around that way. So this was a couple of radishes and some cucumbers. We cut that in half and cut slices. Just gonna separate those up a little bit. I don't think I really need to show you how to cut a cucumber. We've done that many times, and radishes. A couple things I will show you though. Uh, I have here my radish greens. Okay. Now those you can chop them with a knife, take your hands and just tear them up into smaller pieces and put them in the salad. Very simple and easy, right? Got some radish greens here, but you see they're nice, but you can see that they're very textured, and you can it's definitely like it's a thick green, so it does take a little bit of, if you like bitter greens, things like that, you'll really enjoy this. If not, you can not do it with radish greens. Okay.
You could use,
because I'm doing a bed of mixed greens as well, to give this a little bit more body for us later on.
you could use watercress.
Yeah, watercress. You can use chard. You can use baby kale. Would be delicious.
Those are
but the
all
radish,
nutrient-dense greens.
yes, but the radish is more typical in Mexico, this area for the salad. And in Spanish, I have to look at my cue card to remind me what it is that it is, what we call it. So move that out of the way. Here you go. Need
What you find
my
interesting,
knife. This is
in different areas of Mexico, the cuisine is totally different.
Yes.
We have the Americanized cuisine mostly here.
Okay.
Sometimes we'll find a true Mexican restaurant that will provide you with phenomenal food like in Chicago.
Now, if you guys remember, I'm going to supreme this. Now, the recipe calls for an orange. This happens to be a honey bell, which is a type of tangerine that is native to Florida, and they're only available in January. Is when they harvest them, and they're amazing. So remember, supreme, top and bottom cut off. Then take your knife and remove the skin. You got to make sure to leave no pith on. So you got to cut into the fruit a little bit. You see, I'm leaving a little bit on here, just enough so that it's all clean. And these things aren't real even, so It's not real level. You notice they have that little bump on the top. There,
A nipple on the top.
a nipple. Okay, you said it. I didn't.
That's what they call it.
That's what my grandkids call them. I send boxes of these up north every year. Family.
They're gone in 3 days.
Yep. But I'm not going to say it. What they call them. You can imagine. So then you cut in between the sections, leaving a little bit of the outside of the section on the right and the outside of the section on the left, and pull off a nice, beautiful piece of fruit. See that? And you go all the way around. Now, the supreming is just a really great skill to have. If you're going to serve citrus, it's just a nice way to do it for salads because you don't have to chew on the membrane. You just get the sections, and really great for grapefruit because the grapefruit membranes can be very tough and are not the most pleasant thing to chew on. So it's a really good skill. Oop, I left a little bit too much on this piece. There we go. Practice, practice. Okay. Come back around. You can use whatever citrus you like. I like putting sometimes. I've done it in some of our salads before. I'll supreme a lemon because they add a nice little something. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and so we got this. It's all done, but there's still some there. So I usually take my hand and just squeeze a little bit of that juice. I waste it. Okay. Ooh, there's a nice shot of juice. Now we'll get rid of this real quick.
So let's talk about the avocado a little bit.
Okay.
How do we know how to pick a good avocado? One thing to remember is it should always have little dot, should have the stem still attached. We took it out already.
No, that is the way that one came.
Oh, we didn't pick it out.
Yep.
But you really do want the stem a little bit attached on it.
Okay. This one I did, they came from the store unripe, of course. So I put them in a paper bag with a banana. Took 3 days, 2.5 days, and they're perfect. Even though it's still a little green, it feels perfectly ripe. So cut it in half through that stem down to the pit. And I'm going to do a little different now. Over the years, and those of you in California, probably experts at this. See that? Twist it, pull it apart. And then, we used to take the old knife and whack and then pull it out, which works well. But then it's always difficult to get it off the knife. And I've been paying more attention. And, it's just as easy to take it, put your thumbs in the back and just give a little push. And look at that. Out comes the pit and no accidents. All right. No accidents to happen at all. Now we're going to cut the avocado into pieces here. Whoops, wrong one. Boy, am I wronging here.
What are you looking for, a spoon?
I got it. Yep. I forgot my spoon. So before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and make my cuts. Don't cut through it. My mother did that once, just what I'm doing right now. And I had sharpened her knives for her when I came home. And she wasn't really used to having really sharp knives. And she actually put the knife right through the peel and across her palm. Ended up getting several stitches in her hand.
But it was a clean cut.
Yes, it was. So I'm trying to do about 1 inch cuts here. We want nice pieces of avocado. I'm going to get 1, 2 across. That's about it. And then take your spoon. Very simply, just scoop it out. Scraping right on the peel, on the skin. And we'll have to separate them out. They're sticky, right? I'm gonna get the dressing in here. They'll come apart. And same with this one. Avocados are great, right? They have all that good oil. Avocado fat is very healthy, good calories, good for you. All sorts of great things with avocados.
Avocado oil
Right.
is just as healthy, and it also has a high heat index
Yes, for cooking.
for cooking.
So let's just separate these up a little bit. Okay. We get it all nice. Come on, guys. They just don't want to cooperate. Okay. Here we go. The dressing is actually avocado. No, I have it.
I
Thank
know
you.
it's extra.
I made the dressing ahead because it's so simple. Juice of 1 lemon, juice of 1 lime, about a tablespoon of olive oil, and some pepper and cumin. That's what I used. I've seen it made with sesame oil, whatever flavors you like, but I like the cumin scenting for this, and just shake it up. So avocado oil, lemon, lime, and some cumin and pepper. And we will lightly dress this. This is enough for 2 of these. And I will toss, toss, toss. Gently. I don't want to bruise or mash up the avocado. We want it to stay nice pieces. Nice color in here. We've got the radish and the cucumber, a lot of green, but the radish does helps, and the oranges do set it off a little bit. Okay, there we go. That's about all the tossing I need. If I might have my platter. I did put some other greens right on there. So we'll plate this on top of the greens.
I noticed there wasn't any onion in it. Is that to keep the radish flavor predominant?
Yeah, there's just, it's really simple. Like I said, it's just those cucumbers, radishes, and avocados with the greens. Okay, go. Scatter a few around the side. And we've got it. No tomatoes either, you know.
I did notice that
No cilantro, all those typical things that we know of.
when we think of
Please take
Mexican.
that. Yeah. No waste here.
Now, if you wanted to make this a complete meal, you could maybe add some hard-boiled eggs on top of it.
Sure. I mean, if anything you want, you can do grilled chicken, you can do some nice grilled shrimp, but this is just a nice salad. I'm assuming that you're making something else. These are all things that go around your typical Mexican dinner, because really the tacos, the enchiladas, the burritos, the beans, all those things typically can be a little bit, high fat, and don't have to be. But like tortillas, if you use store-bought tortillas, whoo-wee, those things have so much sodium and fat in them that it's outrageous. We could do a show another time and show you how. Masa harina, the corn flour, that in water, mix it, make a dough, press it out, throw it on a pan. They're really pretty simple to make. So here we go. There's our radish avocado salad from Mexico. Now I'm going to give it back to Mindy.
So the next is my recipe is where? Hiding over here.
Mm.
Excuse me.
All your stuff.
No, my stuff I moved, except the recipe. So the paletas con frescas.
Paletas.
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 Basically, it's fresh fruit pops. You like popsicles?
Stay right where you are.
This is a fancy popsicle. So I washed the strawberries. I took the tops off. It says to save 1 or 2, the batch is small, so it says to save 2 strawberries. I'm only saving 1. It's slightly on the large side. Okay. I'm going to chop the rest of them in my handy dandy food processor, which should only take a couple seconds. I'm going to give it a little chop, and then I'm going to add fresh basil.
Please. Basil and strawberry is a great go together.
And when you look at it,
You like spatula?
got one right here. Thank you.
Okay, great.
As you see, I partially chopped them, but I've got a couple whole ones, so I'm going to chop it a little bit more. I don't want to make it too fine before I add my other ingredients, which is the fresh basil leaves from my garden. As you see, it's getting juicy now. And like I said before, it's sort of hard to take it off, but I'll pull it over because it may leak through the blade. I have my half a cup of fresh mint leaves. I did not pack them, but I have some really large mint leaves.
Basil?
Basil, mint. Oh, mint would be good in it too.
Absolutely.
Come to think of it.
And even cilantro. I think with the
Maybe.
strawberries, yeah, if you like it, but yeah, the mint or the basil.
Okay.
Two
This
winners.
is a teaspoon and a half of lime and 2 tablespoons of honey. You can adjust the honey if you want it sweeter. The recipe calls for, cut the recipe in half. So it calls for 2 tablespoons and 1 teaspoon. I've used a little bit less than.
Again, it's a guide.
It's a guide. And remember, it depends on when your strawberries are. They're in season now, but they're, you taste it. Is it sweet enough? Then you might not want to have to put as much honey in it. If they're not so sweet, you may have to put a little more honey in it. I'm going to take it and chop it all up. And that's pretty fine. We'll go a little bit more. And you could probably put this in little bowls if you wanted to, but we're going to make it like popsicles. So I have 5-ounce cups. I need a knife to chop my strawberry. Thank you, sir.
If you're lucky enough to have popsicle molds, you can use those as well.
Use the popsicle molds. You want to chop them up so that I can put them in the cup. Better if I sliced it in half. I'm left-handed, right-handed, so Rob's got the camera set for left hands. These are so big, I have to cut it in half first. And then we're going to sprinkle this into each cup. Put it in the bottom, but it won't be staying there. They usually float up a little bit. And that one has a little bit too much.
Okay.
We don't want to overfill.
Perfection is not an issue in the home kitchen.
No, but when it's too much, it's too much. You just take it out and scoop it into another spot. Then we take this wonderful, let's see how good I am with this. And I have a measuring cup. I don't trust myself.
Big, little, here.
Big's fine. So because I'm a messy person,
Messy Mindy, that's what they used to call her.
they used to call me Motor Mouth too. So,
Yes.
so I'm going to pour it into the pitcher so I could get it.
Good.
There we go.
You.
And then we're going to fill these glasses evenly as you can. You might want to leave a little room for expansion because when you say you're doing a cup of water, you only want to put about 6.5 ounces because, of course, you know, when it freezes, it expands. And how are we going to make the popsicle stick stay straight in this? Well, I decided to cut little squares of foil, and I put a little slot in the center. So I'm going to cover it up with a piece of foil so that I can have my popsicle stick standing straight up. Same thing for the next one. And if it's not perfectly center, that's okay.
Okay, great.
So we'll do 2 more, and then we're just going to put these in the freezer. And as soon as I'm done, then Rob will start making his last item. I think you could even take this if you have those ice cube trays. You could probably fill those and make little ice,
Absolutely.
which would be really nice.
Oh,
Okay. And let me clean up my mess so that Rob can do his next project. I'm going to borrow your board and wash it.
I don't
because
need
you
it.
don't need it.
I don't need it. Okay, so those are going to freeze. Just amazing. You'll see they'll be totally frozen in 10 minutes. Actually, those things need to stay in the freezer for at least 4 hours. Better yet, overnight to freeze the pops. Okay, but again, recipe is a guide. I know Mindy was giving you a lot of measurements, but really, you can, if you don't want strawberries, you can make them with blueberries or peaches or whatever fruit you want. And the honey is, you know, as you said, if they're not sweet, more, less. If you want to use agave, you know, that'd be very Mexican as well. So the honey, use agave syrup. And they all work. And whatever herbs or no herbs that you want to do with it. All right. Last part of this fun night is going to be what's called horchata. Now, horchata is a Mexican beverage. I don't need it, but okay.
But it's nicer.
Okay. And it contains rice, cinnamon, milk, vanilla, and sugar. Okay. Really simple. Now, I had to start this ahead of time because you don't cook the rice. What you do is you take your rice, you put it in a bowl, put a cinnamon stick in there, break it up, not too small because you got to pull it out, and then put hot water, 1.5 to 1. So for a cup of rice, you use 1.5 cups of hot water, 2 cups of rice, 3. Okay. So 1.5 to 1. Typically, when you cook rice, it's 2 to 1. Okay, but 1.5. Then you let it sit. I've let it sit for, well, we're a little bit over 8 hours now, which is really the best. It gets nice and hydrated and everything. You can go less if you're in a hurry, but this is something you do this in the morning or do it at night before you go to bed and let it sit overnight. Just let it sit on the counter. Pour hot water from the teapot. Doesn't have to be boiling over the rice. And then just leave it on your counter for that 8 hours. Now, so I've got cinnamon sticks in here.
And the cinnamon sticks are Saigon cinnamon sticks. Ceylon and Saigon cinnamon sticks are the best cinnamon.
Okay, so you'll see the rice. It's not really soft, but it's absorbed some of the water and such, so it's been softened. So all we do at this point is we put it in our blender. My hands are exceptionally clean, and it's for me anyways. I'm not that worried.
You mean I'm not going to get upset because you're not wearing gloves?
No,
I didn't wear gloves.
I know.
But I did wash my hands.
I follow hand washing procedures. We've had that discussion a long time ago about glove wearing.
And so don't go flip your hair back if you got hair.
Don't pick your nose. Don't do any of those things. Okay, so we have our rice and the water. Our milk and our sugar and our vanilla. Okay. Here's all the ingredients. So first thing we're going to do, I'm going to do a quick buzz on the rice mixture. When you make a larger batch, they suggest that you do half and half. Okay, because again, it's going to blow all over the mixer. Now, you can run this. A high-speed blender really, really makes a difference with this. You can do it with the regular blender, but this is not a Vitamix, which is a great brand. They're the expensive ones. They sell them at Costco, everywhere else.
I am going to.
But they're very, this is kind of a knockoff. It's called a, whatever, Batira Run, Beta Run. Works really well, does the same thing. Okay, I'm going to add my sugar. My milk, and my vanilla. Okay. Now, if you're doing 2 batches, you may just want to do that first half, just do half the rice and water, and then take that out, and then do the second half with the milk and the sugar and stuff. This blender will handle it all. Now, you want horchata to be ice cold when you serve it. So either make it far enough advance, you can put it in the refrigerator, or just pour it over ice, which is what we're going to do tonight.
Or like he was saying, you could just add some ice cream.
Talking to another member about this today, and he had a great idea. He was like, well, can you make a milkshake out of it? I thought about it and said, you know what? You probably could. So now we have to strain this. So I would, use your milk, would cut your milk in half, strain it, then put it back, and then blend the ice cream into it, like vanilla ice cream, and you'd have a horchata milkshake, which would be really good. Now, you can make these different flavors as well. They don't have to be just plain. I've seen chocolate. You could probably put fruit in there as well, do different things. So what you want to do is you need to strain it. I have a nice ice cold pitcher here and a strainer. And I'm going to strain into the pitcher. Now, what would be nice, Mindy, would you get some ice, please?
I can do that for you. It's going to make a lot of noise, but I'll gladly get
No, it won't pick it up. It'll be good. I just want you to see how good this blender works. Look at that, nice thick. Look at this is all it took out. See that blender, how well that works? There's really very, very little to strain out of this. See?
Mhm.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Now to serve it, typically, so we'll do a little ice. It is very rich. I mean, a glass of this is about almost, it's like 385 calories. Okay. Like I was saying, this is, if you're taking care of somebody that is, just come from surgery or the hospital, what's the number one thing to get into people when they're healing, Mindy?
Calories and nutrition and protein.
Right. So this has all of it. This has calories, has good protein from the milk.
And easily to digest.
Yes, and rice makes it very, very simple to digest. So this is really good for healing, but it's also just really good every day. So there we go. Horchata over ice. This looks so good.
Eek.
Okay. And if you want to be fancy, where I'm always fancy, we are going to do a little sprinkle of cinnamon. There we go. Get some cinnamon out of the bottom of the jar on the top. You could even be really fancy and do a cinnamon swizzle stick if you wanted to. But there is our horchata. And that's all we have for tonight. So let's review. We have lovely horchata, a picture. Well, we're going to show you the pops how they come out. And we got some on the left side. Here's one of the pops. Now, to get the pops out, really simple. You guys ever eat push-up pops on your kids? Take your hands when you put them in the paper cup and do a few of these, right? Use the warmth of those nice warm hands that you all have. Just do it around, and next thing you know, a little bit more. My hands aren't warm enough. You could also, if you have paper cups, in the best if you dip it in warm water, but this is fine. Just be patient. Give it to the kids, and let them do this. I was always building the anticipation of having that push-up pop when we were kids. There we go. And look at that. Look how nice, delicious that is. It's our push-up pop. Here
Because we're in
is-
a hurry, I'm going to set this
Well-
in the microwave for a minute to get
Yeah, now the caramel, yes, to do the
the flan.
flan, you can dip them in hot water because you have to melt the caramel a little bit in order to get it out because it stick to the glass. So typically just some hot water, and just like you're unmolding something, like Jello molds or things of that nature, dip it in a little hot water, take a knife, run it around the edge.
I did. Come on.
And just wait for it. Maybe the other side.
And it's coming.
Oop.
Voila.
There we go. If you warm that up and get the rest of that caramel,
I could do that.
we'll pour that over the top. Look beautiful. Here is our finished flan. And shouldn't take much. Yeah. A little more over the top. Deliciousness. Beautiful caramel flan de queso. And our radish green salad with avocado and cucumber and citrus. So I hope you enjoyed tonight, guys. We had a lot of fun with this, and a couple of announcements at the end. Well, first, Josh, any questions or comments from our viewers?
Let's say hi to Kira Toy, Brenny, Melissa, and Tom, and Molly.
Awesome. Hey guys, thanks for joining. This is gonna be we're gonna be skipping March, as everybody knows, in our community at least, that we're on the move, which is next week. So we won't be doing another Aortic Kitchen until April.
We can find our pots and pans.
Yes, once we find them and get settled into our new kitchen, which will be a big change from this one. So we will see you again in April. Before you leave, though, please be sure to hit the like button and to hit that little bell so you know when you get the notices when we are going to have a program. And aortichope.org is our website, and please go there. And we are a 501c3 organization run by volunteers. Most of us are all survivors of aortic disease events, aortic dissections and aneurysms. So any donations are very welcome, and you can do that at aortichope.org. Just go to the website and click the donation button. So from the Aortic Kitchen here, almost in Mexico, I am Chef Rob, the Aortic Chef.
I am Mindy Seltzer, the aortic dietitian, and we thank you for joining us for this show.
Good night.